I mean, I feel like now's a good time to bring up the fact that we talked about riding without stirrup,
That's
and we
true.
both had to
We
ride without
both had to
stirrups
ride
this
without
week.
stirrups. And let me tell you, it has been a hot minute since I rode without stirrups.
Same, on
Yeah.
purpose at least.
Yes, on purpose.
Yeah.
Yeah, how weird is that? The same day.
I
too.
know, the same day.
You texted me in the morning. I was like, "Ha, that sucks for her."
I know.
And then no, this is karma.
I know. Yeah, that was unexpected. So I guess we're not completely immune from that.
I thought we were. Apparently not.
But oh well, it's no stirrup November, I guess. All right. Well,
a lot of ISOs.
This is episode 3.
Yes,
of the Working Ammy pod. Still working on fun episode names. But we'll get there. So let's jump right in.
All right, let's do it.
Okay. This one is, the subject line is for Nora to read and Maria to guess.
Oh no, these are the ones where every time they're like, I want Maria to do it.
I love it when they request you by name.
I just get it so wrong.
Okay. So they say, hey ladies, I've been really enjoying watching your ISO series. I know you have a lot of submissions to get through, but I thought I would send you a guess, the 1-year lease price on my horse.
Oh, okay.
16.1 hand, 5-year-old Belgian sport horse gelding, stands in cross ties for farrier, vet, bathing, grooming, clipping, etc. No barn vices at all. He is the sweetest guy and he loves treats. Wonderful personality and a barn favorite. Even though he is only 5, he has already done the Children's Hunters and National Derbies and placed well at the top-rated shows. Not complicated to ride and takes a joke. He has never refused to jump, bucked, bolted, or anything of that nature. Beautiful jump and easy changes. I could see him being a hunter or an eck horse and doing well in both. He could do a derby with a trainer one day and then the next day take a kid around to 2 foot, no problem. He is one of the best young horses I have ever sat on and definitely does not act like a 5-year-old. So 1-year lease price.
1-year lease price. Okay. It's kind of throwing me off that he's 5 at young age. I can't imagine, even though it's great that he's had that show experience in the Hunters and in the Derbies, which we know the lease prices are significant.
Yeah.
The fact that he's 5, I think, might throw some people off. So I can't expect that it would be a super high lease price. So I think I usually go by what I would purchase the horse for, and then I backtrack to like 33% or 1/3 of the horse sales price. So I think like 25,000.
A little bit more, but not like a little bit. Like
what?
It's more than that.
30?
More.
35?
Yeah.
35?
Yeah.
Oh wow, for a 5-year-old. That would mean that the sales price would be like 80 to 90.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, he does have a ton of experience, but yeah, he is 5. It sounds like he has a great brain, which I think is very valuable when looking at young horses. I'd be interested to know, like, I personally would be nervous about leasing out my 5-year-old.
Yeah, I would,
because you never know what kind of situation they're going into. Like, even if you can, like, go to the barn and see what it's like, and all, you still don't.
Yeah, and they're very
really know.
Their brains and their personality are very malleable.
Yeah, when they're young.
If she's leasing him for 35,000, is she leasing him or is she leasing him
out? She's leasing him out, I think.
She's leasing him out. I would assume, based on that price for the lease, that it's a very reputable hunter barn that he is going to.
Yeah.
Because I don't think you would be able to ask that price for a 5-year-old if it was just like if it wasn't a reputable show barn.
Well, they're definitely looking for a certain type of person to lease this horse.
Yes.
Like, obviously,
I mean, 35 is not like crazy to me. Like
Right.
originally I was thinking 25 to 30 and then I went for 25 because of the way that I price the horses, which I put around like 65,
Yeah.
70. But it's not outrageous. It's just it's not cheap
Yeah.
for a 5-year-old. You know,
Yeah,
if it
for a
was like
5-year-old.
8,
Yeah.
then I could see that price, that 35 being like totally reasonable, completely. And it's not that it's unreasonable, it's just that
Right.
because it's 5, it would have to be like an insanely good horse, which it does seem like it is.
It sounds like it is, but yeah.
Yeah, I'd be interested to know how much show experience it has at 5.
Yeah. I would love to look at its USEF record.
Yeah, me too.
And just see, just out of curiosity. But yeah.
Yeah, because that does make a difference. If it has like a good USEF record at 5, then yes, I can see it going to 35. If it only has like 2 or 3 shows under its belt at 5, then
yeah. Yeah, it does say placed well at the top rated shows, has done children's hunters and national derbies.
That's crazy though, only 5.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, it sounds like this person has a great horse.
Yeah.
Cool.
Okay, this is gonna be fun.
Okay.
It's a 2-parter.
Ooh.
Hey girls, I love your TikToks and wanted to submit my own ISO versus what I ended up with.
Oh, love these.
ISO. Horse for a preliminary level young rider. Needs to be between 7 to 12 years old, but not particular about the breed. The horse needs to be solidly competing at the modified level with the ability to move up to prelim within a show season. Long term needs to have scope and ability for intermediate. Doesn't need to be exceptional in just one phase, would rather have something that is good at all 3. Hot and spooky is fine and expected, as well as routine maintenance. What do you think the budget was for this?
So I feel like the budget's low because she said she doesn't have a breed preference and hot and spooky is fine. Yeah, so that's reasonable for a horse. Like, we say this all the time. Most horses are capable of jumping 3 foot with, I don't want to say relative ease, but it's not like a huge ask for most horses. Because again of the fact that she doesn't care about breed and she's okay with something hot and spooky, I'm gonna say her budget is 25.
I didn't want to say anything, but it is not 25.
Is it lower or is it higher?
No, it's like way, way higher.
Oh, really?
Like shocking high.
Is it like 75?
Like higher.
It's higher?
Well, yes. Well, the budget is high 5s, is what she said.
Oh.
So for me, high 5 is like 80,000 plus. 80,000 to 99,000.
Wow. I obviously didn't expect that because
I wouldn't have said that either.
We say this all the time. If you have that budget, you can pick whatever breed you want.
Yes.
You don't need something spooky. Something hot is fine because I feel like people like that for cross country and but you don't need to be like spooky is fine. You don't have to put that in.
Yeah.
Even if it is fine, you don't have to put that in because then people are going to try to dump their hot, spooky, not well-bred
overly priced horses
on you. Do not. If your budget is high 5s, do not put that in.
You be picky.
You're gonna end up with something that you don't. Actually, no. It's not that you'll end up with something that you don't want, but you will get a lot of interest from people with lots of horses that you don't want.
Yes, exactly. Like, make it easy on yourself and just put in exactly what you want if you have a good budget.
Yeah.
And then if you don't find anything, then maybe let's reevaluate our expectations and our ask. But if you have a high 5 budget and this is what you put, I would have done the exact same thing. I probably would have said it was 25 and under based on how this was written.
Yeah.
Okay, so what she got.
Okay.
A 10-year-old 15.3 Irish sport horse gelding, currently competing at the intermediate level.
Nice.
He always top few after dressage with 0 cross-country jump penalties throughout his career and a fabulous show jumper. We've talked about before, like dressage is a really big aspect in it. A puppy dog personality who loves quality time and his stuffed animals.
Cute.
His owner was a close friend of my trainer, which is reflected in his under market value purchase price.
Ooh, we love the connection discounts.
We do.
The trainer
friends
discount.
and family
Friends
discount.
and family discount, yeah. Okay, so she said he was under market. I'm going to assume that he would have gone for around her budget. That's what I'm going to guess. But with the friends and family discount, I'm going to say she got him for like 65.
No.
Oh, God.
It's higher.
Is it?
Like, significantly higher.
Did she go over budget? Or
Yes.
was he 100K?
Yes, he was.
Okay.
100K. This ad is a little bit confusing to me. Actually, it's pretty off-putting.
Yeah.
Honestly, based on his under market value purchase price. I mean, we know that the Eventers go for lower than what the Hunters and Equitation go for.
Yeah, I feel like both of these were very misleading.
Yes. This is why I read it. Yes,
Yeah.
but 100K. I mean,
yeah, it sounds. I feel like that's not like.
I'm not balking at that price.
Right. I'm not like, oh my God. And it's. I mean, she went a little bit over budget, but we don't know what her high fives budget number was. Like, was it 90?
Yeah, I mean, high fives is 99,999.
Right.
So technically, she went over $1.
Yeah, because we don't know the exact number.
Yes.
So yeah.
I'm interested to know though from Eventers whether an intermediate horse is going for that price.
Right.
Right. Because we usually see the
intermediate. We said what was like 3 foot, 3'5".
3'9", which is like 110.
3'9". Okay. Yeah, I could see it because people are buying adult jumpers for that much easily, which is
and I mean, if he's doing well, like he's 10 years old, so he must have a lot of significant experience at the intermediate level, which is essentially what she wants to get to.
Yep.
He always is top few after dressage, which is great because that puts her in a great position for the cross country and then the show jumping.
Yep.
And it seems like he has a really good personality. So yeah, I would say I think it's interesting that she said under market value purchase price. So I wonder what at market purchase price, like 125?
Maybe.
Interesting.
Yeah. Hi gals, absolutely love your TikTok and binge your videos constantly.
Oh.
Wanted to send a price estimator for my 2 current horses.
Okay.
I moved away for college in 2021 and planned on continuing showing them during the summer, but I now have a full-time job that takes up my summer.
I feel that.
Although I could keep them because my parents are very supportive, I feel that's not fair to them for me to be gone so much, and they deserve another person to love on them. Just curious what you think we could price them for. I was in the same situation when I graduated college. I got a full-time job. I sold my horse. Okay, so there's 2 horses.
Okay.
First horse is a 2010 Holsteiner gelding, 16.2 hands. Bought him as a 6-year-old out of Canada, where he had competed up to 1.15 meters. He was my first jumper, so I have spent the past 7 years moving from the 0.90s to the 1.30 meters on him. Very sweet, in your pocket personality outside the ring, fast across the ground, and can turn on a dime in the ring. Can take a joke, but I wouldn't call him a packer or a horse for anyone because he does have a tendency to spook, and we were not disclosed of this when we bought him. This makes him extremely careful over the fences and a winner every time in the low/medium juniors, if there are no jumps that he doesn't like. Example, loud fillers, open water, occasional liver pools. Therefore, he would need a rider who's confident and patient with him. However, the right warm-up prep, usually throwing a bed sheet on a jump to serve as a filler, he usually has the confidence to go around clear. We have won lots, including a Grand Circuit Championship at Hits Thermal in the low juniors. Yep.
How old is he?
13.
He's 13. Okay, so he is getting up there.
Like, not that up there.
No, not up there, but well,
Squid's 13.
8 to 12 is what we usually say like prime age. So he's kind of a little bit past that, but still like totally like rideable, you know?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Not concerning at all. The thing that concerns me in this is the fact that he's spooky. And that's great that he went from 0.90s to 130s. I think that's very rare to find in a horse. But that limits your options, which I think she's aware, and your target market, because a lot of people who are going from the 0.90s to 130s kind of expect a packer if it's going to be significantly priced.
I think it depends on how she would market him. Like, is she marketing him as a low to medium junior horse, or is she marketing him as like, this horse can take you from the 0.90s to the meter 30s?
Yeah, and I don't think based on what she wrote, she should be marketing him as maybe a 0.90 to 130, because what you don't want is for one of those ISO ads that the kid's doing 0.80, 0.90, but I want a meter 30 horse.
Yeah.
That's what you don't want this horse to get into a situation with. So I'm kind of going back and forth between high fives and low sixes just because of that spooky aspect. Because I'm thinking if I'm in the low AOs or the medium AOs and I'm either moving up from something or I'm competing, and it's an adult Ammy set. That's a lot of stress, unneeded stress for me to wonder if my horse is going to go over the jumps. Or not, or spook.
Yeah.
So I think the transition period when this horse finds a new owner, I think it's going to take maybe a little bit.
Yeah.
To kind of learn to trust each other, is my gut feeling. I think solely based on that.
Yes.
The spooky aspect. Because that's kind of what's throwing me off right now. I think she could ask like 80 to 90.
That's what I was going to say too.
Yeah, I don't think you should go to the sixes, because there's other horses out there in the sixes that are not spooky.
I agree.
At that level.
Yeah, because like spooky, like being a little bit spooky is one thing. Like Squid is a little bit spooky with noises.
Yeah.
But when he gets in the ring, he's like laser focused. He doesn't peek at the jumps. And if he does, he just jumps it higher.
Yeah.
I had a horse that was spooky to the jumps and over water specifically, and it was so anxiety inducing when I went to horse shows. And like you said, as an adult Ammy, you don't want to have to worry
if I'm
about
putting that much money into competing, I want to go into the ring confident that I've prepped well, my horse is prepped, and we're going to do the best we can. Not, is he going to spook today? Like, horses do spook, don't get me wrong, in the ring, but having a horse that is knowingly spooky, you have to, it takes a very particular and strong mental and physical rider in order to be able to work through that.
And there are definitely people who are willing to do that.
Exactly. But those people might not be willing to take that horse for the six figures.
Right.
But they'll be able to work through it if it's maybe under market price.
Yeah, definitely. I would agree with that. All right. Cool. Second horse. 2007 Belgian warm blood gelding. So this one's 16.
Okay.
16.2 hands. He has an extensive early show record in Europe where he competed in many two-star Grand Prix. Not totally a lover when it comes to in the barn, but will save your butt every time in the ring. He's a horse I would throw anybody on. I've competed up to meter 35 with him and have won numerous division championships with him in the low medium juniors on the AA circuit in California. Very quick, turns well, but will have an occasional rail at meter 30 plus. That doesn't faze me that much.
No.
However, being older, he will need maintenance. We do routine injections as well as ice his legs after jumping. The last few times I've been in town to ride, he has been off, so I'm not extremely confident he would pass a PPE. It doesn't seem like an issue all the time. He just has days where he's off and days where he's not. For this reason, I think he'd make a great step-down horse for somebody looking to build their confidence in the lower division jumpers. He's never had a lead change, so couldn't do hunters or eck.
If the major thing in this is the health concerns.
Yeah.
Not just the maintenance, is the fact that he's on and off. I think if you are going to sell him, I would probably put a little bit of money to figure out exactly what's wrong. So I would probably look into that issue a little bit more, because what you don't want to happen is you market this horse. And first off, I wouldn't even be marketing. Like, that's great that he's done all of that. But at 16, if he's having soundness issues,
Yeah.
he's obviously not going to be doing the meter 30s and
Yeah.
stuff. So I would market him as a step down horse. But if he's having soundness issues, I don't really think that you can even market him as a step down.
Yeah.
Because
Well, yeah. So I agree with that. I do think mentioning that he's done the meter 30 is kind of relevant,
for a step
not to
down.
say, yeah, not
Yeah.
to say like you can do the meter 30 on him, but
Yeah.
to say like he's been there, done that, he's seen it all, like
Yes.
he's a great like babysitter,
Yes.
whatever. But yeah, agree that I think
the
it's
soundness is an issue, and I think
yeah,
that has to get taken care of. Like, you have to have some idea of what it is.
yeah,
Like, I don't think you should market the horse and just say he's on some days and off some days,
right.
because that for me is, as a buyer, I'm like, what? What do you mean?
Yeah,
Like, what's wrong?
right.
So I think you're gonna scare people off. Like, I think it's worth, in this case,
Mhm.
it's worth the money to figure out, even just generally, like, could be this, it could be that. Like, get some
Yeah.
idea of what it could be. So then when people ask you, well, what's going on? You
Yep.
don't just say, I don't know.
Yeah.
Like, you have some kind of backing, like that you actually put in the effort to figure out what's wrong with the horse, or you figured out what's wrong with the horse. And that way, then you can appropriately price him, because it's kind of hard to place him right now, because I don't know if the soundness issue is
Yeah.
going to get worse, if it's not, if it's manageable.
And if you figure out what's causing the soundness issue, you can figure out how to manage it.
Exactly. And then
which is important because then maybe
Yeah.
he won't have days where he's on and days where he's off.
Yeah,
Like
and maybe you can ask a higher price for him, because then he would be a perfect step down for like
Yeah.
a meter or something like that.
yeah, like maybe he needs
But
injections, maybe he needs Osphos, maybe he
Yeah.
needs Adequan, like
something. But I don't think you can market him as he's off some days and on some days,
Yeah.
because as a buyer, even as a trainer, even if the budget was below 25,000 for this type of horse,
mhm.
which it would have to be, because if you're saying he's on some days, off some days, as a buyer, I have to take that financial responsibility now to do all of this PPE
Right.
work. So you have to lower that price significantly in order to attract me to even want to do the PPE and figure out what's wrong with this horse. That's on me. That's my responsibility.
Yeah.
If you want a higher price for him, then that's on the owner's responsibility
Yep.
to figure out generally what it could be.
Yeah.
And then let me know.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, and then, because saying on and off, I think that's a huge red flag. No one wants an inconsistent horse.
I don't even think it should be like a general, like it could be this or this or this. I think it should be like we did all the testing and here's what came up and here's how you manage it.
Yeah,
Like,
I think yes. I agree.
yeah.
I completely agree. Yes. I think the more transparent you can be in this case, the better home he's gonna find.
Yeah, because there are people looking for a horse like this. Like there are people that are willing to do a little bit more maintenance for an older packer.
Yes.
Basically.
Yes, exactly. And they're willing to take on that, especially if he's been there, done that, and the barn stuff. Like, he's not like friendly, or he's not lovable.
Not totally a lover.
Not totally a lover. I don't care.
Doesn't
mean as long as
yeah.
he can be in the ring and be totally solid and
Right.
true and steady, it doesn't
Yeah.
faze me.
And not totally a lover to me doesn't mean that he's like mean. It's
it's just like he's not cuddly.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think it's worth putting the extra money in to
Mhm.
get the vet out, to get some kind of testing on the horse to figure out why he's lame some days and
Yeah.
why
Yeah,
he's
like a
not.
soundness evaluation.
Yeah, because
Do
it could
some
be something
X-rays.
as simple as we discussed about you said about the train, or about the work. Like, he needs to be in consistent work. He can't be in a stall for 3 days and then ridden.
Yep.
It could be something as simple as that, but having, like, just knowing, I think will make the owner feel better and will make buyers feel better.
Yep.
I don't think you should market this horse as he's on some days and off some days.
Yeah. Yeah, especially because this person said the last few times I have been in town, so they're not riding the horse that much. I guess we don't really know what kind of program the horse is currently in terms of riding.
Yeah.
But I think that's a kind of a weird thing to just be like, oh yeah, sometimes it's on and sometimes it's off, and like that's just how it like.
I feel like there's
kind
a
of weird. Like,
yeah, I don't think horses
I feel like you
go
should dive
on and
deep
off.
a little bit.
Yeah, I don't
a
think
little
horses
deeper
go on
into
and
it.
off just because they feel. I mean, granted, I will say there was a situation, not personally, I read about this, where the horse was so smart, like, to get out of work, he would fake lameness.
Yeah, I've seen
like he would just fake lameness, and like that is a mental thing that you cannot be. But that's consistent. You know, like every time you ask the horse to work, he's lame because of this reason. You've done the research. It's just like the horse doesn't want to work, and he's really smart, too smart for his own good. In this case scenario, if it's inconsistent lameness or soundness, then there's something going on.
Yeah,
that you should further evaluate before you market him.
So if you were going to market him in this condition, what would you put him at?
I would not market him in this condition.
If you were going to market him in this condition, what would you put him at?
10.
You think so?
Honestly, I would have to put it low because I do not. It would have to be low enough for me to be like, okay, I'm gonna put $2,000 into a PPE to try to figure out what is going on with this horse.
My concern with placing it too low is that he's not going to end up in a place that would take great care of him.
I mean,
anyway.
if you market an unsound horse, he's probably not going to end up in a good place either.
That's true. Yeah, that's true.
I mean, the soundness issue is really concerning to me.
Yeah,
it is.
I agree.
Why would you buy an unsound horse that you know is unsound, but it's not unsound consistently? It's sometimes on, sometimes off. Like, I don't want to get to the barn and the horse be lame and it's like, oh, well, today's not the day.
Or he's fine all day and then you get to the horse show
and then that's
no. Or final week. Final day.
I think in this case scenario, we need to figure out what the soundness issue is.
Yeah.
We need to address that and then market him.
Yeah.
If it's something small that can be manageable for that type of horse, like say she figured out what the soundness issue was and it was manageable.
Yeah.
It's 16. I think you could ask for a step down and it's manageable, 30, 35.
Yeah, I agree.
And that's a huge difference.
Yeah.
Of it's worth putting in the $5,000 or whatever it's going to take to get the results.
Yeah.
And then at least you can say emotionally and mentally, I've tried my best to figure out and it's just not working. And then you can explain that to people.
Right.
Like, I've tried this, I've tried that, and I can't figure out what it is. And then people I think will be more willing to take that on. Because like, okay, she's tried this, but I think I could do this.
Yeah. Yeah. And then if the soundness issue is something that's like consistent and you can't figure it out, you can always donate him to like a therapeutic riding program or something. Because that's very low impact.
Yeah.
They don't not very strenuous.
Yeah.
If he can be serviceably sound, you know. But yeah.
I think 30.
Figure that out.
Maybe 25 to 30 because he is 16. But if he's like a solid packer, for the lower levels, then 30. Yeah, 35. Even at 16.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Years,
yeah. I mean, Guzzo's almost 20,
and he's still going.
Yeah,
going strong.
Or not almost 20. He is 20. He's gonna be 21.
Wow,
in May.
He is going strong.
I know. Okay.
Hi, I love your series on TikTok, and I thought I'd submit my ISO to make sure I'm not looking for something impossible.
Ooh, all right, let's see.
ISO. Looking for a nice national Grand Prix horse that could step a high junior / AO rider into the Prix.
Okay.
Preferably under 13 with a bit of experience under the lights and in the Prix. Would love if the horse was careful with a bit extra scope so I can make mistakes. Brave, quick, and not totally terrible to ride. I'm not a terrible junior by any means, but I do make mistakes. Oh, I love that you said that. I'd love something honest that would help me out if I accidentally put us into a bad situation. Slightly green is fine, but it needs to at least be jumping in the National Prix and consistently trying to jump clear. What do we think the budget is for this? This is a fun one.
So we've seen ISOs and horses in this range, and it's been a big range. It's been from $250 to $500K. We read an ISO a while ago for a horse that was doing the U25s, and it was for sale for $500,000. So tough because horses at this level really do range enormously in price. I'm gonna say her budget is $300K. Is that it?
$300K, which is slightly flexible, up to $375.
Oh, okay, that's pretty flexible, I would say.
I'm so proud of you.
All of the ISOs that we've done of like Grand Prix horses came flooding back to me. Yeah, I mean, I think she could find something in this budget.
Yeah, I do too.
Yeah, I think she can find something.
I'd be interested to know if she, because this is from end of July. So I'm interested to know, I'm so sorry that we're just reading this now. I'd be interested to know if she got a horse and what she bought the horse for.
Yeah.
Honestly, I'm thinking she might have, with that budget, I think you could get a really solid one overseas. Like if she didn't import,
yes,
right?
Yeah.
Like I think an
oh my God, absolutely.
Now the only thing with an import would be they wouldn't have experience in the venues over here.
Yeah.
For under 13. So I don't know which one. I think she could probably get a better quality horse over there
for the budget.
But I think she would get a better experienced horse over here with the menus. So that is going to be a toss-up. I'm very interested to see what she ended up with. So if you're watching this, please send us your horse hunters. Where are they now?
Yeah, I definitely think that she can find something in this budget. I mean, like I said, horses at this level can range so much in price. So there's a horse at this price out there for her.
Oh, completely. Yeah, and the fact that it's slightly green and fine, she just seems to want something that's solid.
Yeah.
You know? And at this level too, you want something that's going to be careful because if you're paying this much money to compete at that level, you want a horse that is not just going to get you around. You want a horse that's going to be competitive.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think this is a great budget for this horse. I think it's incredibly reasonable. I'm really curious to know what she ended up with.
I know.
Right?
Yeah, me too. Let us know.
Yeah, let us know.
Oh, okay. So here's a good one.
Oh my God. This is going to be a good one. Okay.
Just the subject line is funny.
Oh, okay. I love funny subject lines.
If you want your ISO to get noticed more, write a good subject line.
Put a good subject line in there.
So this one says, sales ad, flashy gelding, some color for Maria.
Oh, bless. Yes, I love this ad already. Okay.
They said, hi there. I thought it might be fun since I know how much Maria loves color. I have an 18 hand, maybe taller. I'm too afraid to measure. 6-year-old Irish sport horse. I'm curious how you would price. He may be for sale in the nearish future, and yes, I will have a trainer helping me list him. I would be gushing too much if I attempted to sell him myself.
I feel that.
Yeah, I know. Flashy is an understatement with this guy. He is huge, but sensitive and responsive. Wants to please, but does still have a baby brain and gets distracted. Not much faces him, no buck or rear. He can be a bit lucky in a curious way, not spooky. Settles in quickly at new places and doesn't get stressed. Puppy dog personality. He loves attention. In your pocket, like literally, if he could crawl in your pocket, he would. He has good ground manners. He is a little fidgety in the cross ties. Easy keeper, sound and healthy. Currently doing great barefoot. He has nice strong hooves. He got a bit of a late start because he just wouldn't stop growing. LOL. He has done a handful of local schooling hunter jumper shows and has schooled some cross country. We will do some rated shows before we consider selling. We have been doing 2'9" at shows for now until he mentally matures a bit more.
How old is he? He has to be young based on what she's saying. Because those are all young horse behaviors. Like I'm pretty sure he's gonna grow out of those, so those don't really faze me at all.
Yeah, he's
been there, done that. Still going through it, but that's fine.
He's very athletic for a big guy. He can turn on a dime and does much better in the jumpers than I ever thought a horse his size could. He does have scope, but due to his size, he would probably be a good prospect for the 3.3 to 3.6. Not saying he couldn't do more. I'm just not sure I would push it. I could see him having a happy career eventing also. He has a good balance of forward without being hot. He's just the sweetest giant to ever walk the earth, and he will make a tall person very happy someday. However, I should add, he's not super wide, so he is still comfortable for a shorter ride, aka me, as long as you can figure out how to get on and aren't afraid of heights.
I think the markings are beautiful because I know we've discussed before that, and even though I do love my colored horses, there are some not so pretty colored horses. That sounds terrible. I'm sorry.
It's true. It's
true. There's some not so pretty colored horses. So this one's a very pretty colored horse. Like you would look at him and
he has a really kind eye. Doesn't he?
We can sell this horse for you.
I know.
Here's a kind eye. I love the strong feet. That's great. I always look for the hooves. Again, baby behaviors don't really faze me.
Yeah, that doesn't bother me.
He was started late. I wonder how late he was started. Was it like a 5 late start? Was it a 6 late start?
Yeah, I'd like to know that. I'm assuming he wasn't started. He's 6 now, so I'm assuming he
Yeah.
wasn't started at 6 because this person's been doing the 2'9" with him, and I feel like if he was started very recently,
Yeah.
they wouldn't be doing that.
Now, the tough thing with horses like this that are massive are that they typically take longer to grow.
Yeah.
So you're probably looking at like 8 with this one to like fully mature, have
Yeah.
the bones close and everything. So
like how she said she's afraid to measure how tall he is now.
Yeah, I mean 18 hands is pretty significant.
That's a big boy.
So it's gonna take like a tall, not even a tall rider, but someone who wants a big horse.
Yeah.
Is gonna be who picks this beautiful boy up. What he would be worth. I like the fact that she said she's going to put him in rated shows because I think having some rated show record would be helpful. I think it's tough at his height because I would probably want to slowly develop him and develop him correctly.
Yeah.
So he doesn't get injured or, because he's still growing.
Yeah.
There's still stuff going on there conformationally. I think he's done growing. If he's like 18 hands, say, I don't think he's going to grow that much more.
Yeah.
Because they're pretty much like by 6, 7, maybe. We'll see. But that's not an issue for me. I think I like the fact that he's well-rounded. He can do eventing, show jumping, she said.
Yeah, she said he has done much better in jumpers than I ever thought a horse his size could.
Honestly, I could see him if depending on how he moves in like the hunters, because I like the colored horses in the hunters, but he's massive.
I could see him in the big eck mostly because of his conformation. He's not really built like a hunter. He's built very, very, very uphill, which I love as a jumper.
I agree.
And I think is great for the equitation. I don't think I could really see
that would be interesting. I wonder how he does eventing, right?
Yeah. He's schooled cross country.
I think you can ask mid-high for this horse because he's so pretty to look at. This is kind of a situation where if it's a pretty horse and it has a good personality, has a skill set, there are people looking for 18-hand horses. Your target market's a little bit smaller because of that. I think you could ask like maybe 60 to 70, I think.
Yeah, I would probably say that.
Especially if he has a couple rated shows under his belt.
Yeah, but
because you'd be buying potential.
Yeah.
At this point for 6, and someone who understands that he would probably need to be developed a little bit slower than normal.
Yeah. But I would recommend for this person
maybe 60.
Yeah.
60.
Yeah, I'd say that. But I would recommend for this person like doing some equitation classes and seeing how he does.
Yeah, I think I said hunter, but I meant equitation.
Yeah.
When you said that, I was like, yes, of course.
Yeah, I mean,
pretty horse, big horse.
You could try him in the hunters. Again, we don't know how he moves. I feel like, so she said due to his size, he would probably be a good prospect for the 3'3" to 3'6". So like the jumpers isn't really something that I would recommend marketing him towards just because of that potential height limitation. I mean, there are big horses that like
do the
jumpers, like Margie Engel's horses are all gigantic. But if you're recommending like capping him out at 3'6", I
would for sure market him, like you said, as
like a big eck horse.
And I mean, they go
big
for
eck prospect.
I think they go for a good amount of money as well.
Yeah.
So I think selling him at 60 and then marketing him as that would give people enough, like it would be an attractive price for someone to pick him up and then put the miles on him for the eck.
Yeah, definitely.
I think you just need to get a little start.
Yeah. Yeah. He needs some
Some
type of
experience,
EC
yeah.
experience. So you can say, we did him in the EC and he was great and we placed like here and yeah. Definitely.
Also, I think taking him to shows is a really good idea because he's so flashy. And especially if he's for sale, you probably get a lot of interest.
Yeah.
At least like, oh my god, I love your horse. Hey, he's for sale.
Yeah. Yeah. You can get an embroidered saddle pad that says for sale. I've seen people do that.
Yeah. That's interesting.
Cool.
Okay, this is interesting. I don't think we've done one of these before.
Ooh, okay.
ISO but different. This or that situation.
Ooh.
These are fun. Yeah, this is fun.
Okay, I'm excited. Okay. I'm excited about this. Okay.
Hi, I would love to get your opinion on my ISO because it's a little different to the ones I've seen you answer.
Okay.
As a mature rider, I'm looking for my next heart horse, but I have two options and I'm not sure which way I should go.
Yes.
This
okay.
is
I'm so excited about this.
Oh my gosh, I love this. I want one. Both options to be 16-hand gelding preferred, but sensible mare is fine. Not picky on breed, but would love something along the lines of a warm blood, Oldenburg, Irish sport horse. The typical dressage eventing look, but I'm not wanting to climb levels or do anything super serious. Which of these directions would you go? Okay. Option 1. Age between 4 to 8. Green. Maybe been started and ready for training. Can't talk. Just nothing really dangerous. Both my trainer and I would put work in to eventually bring it up to local dressage and 3-phase schooling or 3-phase shows. Budget. I would hope to be between blank and blank. I live in America, but from the UK, so you can imagine I have a little sticker shock with the USA prices. Okay, so what do you think for this horse she would be hoping the budget would be? Actually, you tell me what you think you would put the budget as for this type of horse, and then you can guess what her budget is.
So if I was looking for a horse that was between 4 and 8, and that's green, I would expect the budget to be like 35, maybe.
1,000?
Yeah.
No.
Is it less?
It is less.
How much less?
Significantly less.
Is it like 15?
Less.
10?
Yeah, 5 to 10.
Okay.
Okay, so that's number 1. Option 2.
Okay.
No older than 16. Been there and looking for a step down for a relatively quiet life with a few local shows and lots of love. Not looking for bells and whistles, but must know its job and not need hours of training other than building a partnership. I would be looking to pay upfront for the experience instead of paying for training. What do you think this horse budget would be?
I'm going to say 15 again.
Okay, yes.
Okay.
Good job.
Okay.
15 to 20.
Okay, yeah.
Okay. And then she goes, am I crazy? Thanks for reading.
So I think she's better off going with option 2.
I know. Is this a trick question?
Like,
because
way better off.
Yeah, like, I think reading the 2, option 2 was by far, like, the option.
Yes. Yeah, because option 1, you're getting something young. You're getting something green. Like she said, she would have to pay for the training. When you get something, I mean, I guess if you get something like 6, 7, 8, you kind of know what you have already, but you're not going to find that in $5,000 to $10,000.
No,
a $5,000 to $10,000 budget. I love that she has these 2 options that she's considering, so that she's not like forcing herself, like backing herself into a corner.
Yeah,
but I definitely would go for option 2.
I completely agree.
She can definitely find something like this in her budget.
Yes.
And then, what did she say at the beginning? She's
a mature rider.
A mature rider. So
not looking, so typical dressage eventing look, but I'm not wanting to climb the levels or do anything really serious.
Okay, so that, like, getting something 16, 17, 18, that's stepping down, been there, done that, knows its job, that you can just get on and not have to worry about. Like, 100%. It's such a relief as a rider to have that.
Yes. You take that for granted sometimes about how it's fun to go to the barn and not have to worry if you're going to die that day.
Yeah. Well, I talk about Z a lot because, like, that was my experience. And like, don't get me wrong. He was a great horse and like we were very successful together, but sometimes he was just a loose cannon. And so Every time I ride, and it's like when I'm just like walking my horse around the indoor on a loose rein, or like walking around the property and not having to worry about like, is my horse going to spook it like this or that or that? And like,
Yeah.
obviously I still pay attention, but like, or like sitting at the inn gate at a horse show, I don't have to worry about my horse. I just have to worry about me.
Exactly.
And as an adult Ammy, I think that's so important. And it
Yeah,
makes
100%.
riding more fun.
Exactly. I think this is hysterical that they're so different, the two options. Like, it was like night and day, black and white type of situation.
Yeah.
And we say this all the time, that put the money towards a quality horse.
Yes.
I think at a $5,000 to $10,000 budget, you are not going to be getting a horse that it might end up to be your hard horse. Don't get me wrong. Don't criticize me, people, for this. But with what you want, I think it's worth putting in the extra money.
I agree.
To get a quality horse that you don't have to train, you don't have to worry about. Training is like mentally exhausting. Yep. It's physically exhausting sometimes.
It's frustrating.
It's frustrating. Like, it takes a lot of mental fortitude. Not saying that this person doesn't have it.
Right.
But I mean, she said she's a mature rider. I'm gonna say like adult Ammy-ish. Yeah. You know? And at that point, you probably have other priorities in your life, exactly. Things going on. Like, do you really want to take on that additional responsibility? Yeah. Of having a young horse and having to train it up? Like, no. I mean, for me, I just want to go enjoy the horse that I just bought.
Yeah, exactly.
You're probably going to find one in the 15 to 20, I think, is a very reasonable budget for what she wants, especially like a step down for 16. Yeah. I mean, you might not be getting a warm blood. You could, but I don't know if you would. But even a solid TB that has done eventing in the past and is looking for a step down, like maybe a good body TB, I think is very possible. This is the route that I would go, as option 2.
I agree.
For sure. Yes. Pay up front for the experience instead of paying for training.
I agree.
Right?
Yep.
Yeah. Option 2.
Yes. Option 2.
Option 2.
When was this sent?
September 6th.
Oh, okay. So maybe she hasn't bought a horse yet. Hopefully she'll see
Option 2! Do not do option 1.
No, don't do option 1. If anybody else is in this situation, pick option 2. If you're deciding between
a relatively inexpensive young horse that is green that you need to train up. Yeah. And it's important too. I'm going to say this and then we'll be done. When you're looking at horses, you have to take into account your level. Yep. The purpose for the horse. Yep. Your goals. Yep. And your lifestyle. Yes. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yep. Okay. And when you're going through that in your head and you're looking at that horse, if it does not match that and align with that, it is not the horse for you. Especially if you want to get your heart horse and it's going to be with you forever
for the rest of its life.
Make sure that you're putting the money to get something that you are genuinely going to enjoy.
Yeah. Definitely.
Done.
All right. Okay. So we're done with the ISOs for tonight.
Okay.
But we did get another submission for like a discussion topic / advice column.
We love getting advice.
Yes, we do. Clearly, we do. Okay. So this person says, "Hi, love your series. This isn't an ISO, but I'm hoping you could give me some advice. I'm an adult Ammy who is in the market for my first horse. I'm really excited, but also a bit nervous because I'm new to the process. So I would love your thoughts on a few questions I had. Thank you." So do you want me to read all of the questions, or
how many questions are there?
There's 4 questions.
4. Let's take it one by one.
Okay. So the first one is, what is the typical horse buying process?
Oh boy. Okay. The typical horse buying process. Do you want to start off with this one?
Yeah, I can start. Okay. I can start. So typically when we're looking for horses,
should we go back all the way to like the beginning?
Yes.
Okay.
We're going back to the beginning.
Back in time. All
right. So, I mean, the first thing you're going to want to do when you decide that you want to buy a horse is determine what kind of horse you want. Like,
I would say basically first. I'd say finances first. Figure out if you can afford the horse.
Yes.
Figure out if you can afford the horse.
Before you even decide if you want to buy a horse.
I think you figure out your finances first for the purchase price that you should expect. And the upkeep, like the reoccurring costs. See if you can actually afford that comfortably within your lifestyle and comfortably within like your income. And then you decide based on that whether you want to lease or buy.
Yes.
I think that's also a big thing, a big decision. Like, let's say that your finances are good and you decide to buy. Next step.
Okay. So you've decided that you can afford a horse.
Yes.
So what I would do if this were me, or I guess when this was me, so I'm assuming that this person has a trainer. So you would want to tell your trainer that you want to buy a horse. They'll be like, that's amazing. And then I feel like deciding on the kind of horse, like what you are looking for in a horse, should be very collaborative between you and your trainer, because your trainer should have a good idea, I would hope, of your riding ability, what you reasonably could handle,
what your goals
are, like what you want to do with the horse. So it should be very collaborative between you and your horse, between you and your trainer. So like for me, I was like, I want something overqualified to do the division that I want to do. That might not be something that your trainer would necessarily know, but it's important to like tell your trainer what you want. And then based on your budget, they can be like, well, this is reasonable and this is not. Like, I can get this for you within your budget, but I can't get this for you. Or if your budget is very big, they can be like, yeah, that's fine. We can do that.
And then I think you should also, based on what you want, and we just talked about this, like your goals, your lifestyle, the budget.
Yep.
Decide if you're going to also look in the country,
yes,
or you're going to decide on an import. So I think that's also a discussion that you have to have. And then say you discuss, I'm going to purchase a horse here.
Yep. Yeah. So there's a few ways to go about actually looking for a horse. One, as we know, is social media.
Yeah.
Facebook. I feel like the higher quality horses aren't always marketed on social media.
Yeah. And I think it's okay to look.
Yeah.
I think you should be sending any horse that you find to your trainer.
You shouldn't?
You should.
Oh, you should. Okay.
You should. Like, say I find a horse on some kind of Facebook page that I think that I would like, even though your trainer might hate you for it and get really annoyed, I would send that to my trainer. You know, like, don't inquire if you have a trainer that's looking. Don't inquire, especially if you're under 18. Do not inquire. Send it to your trainer. Let them inquire, and then they can also tell you, like, absolutely not. Like, this is not the horse for you.
Yeah.
But I would also leave it up to your trainer to decide.
Yeah, definitely. I completely agree with that. If you're working with a trainer, let them be the ones to do the hard work, because you're going to be
paying them a commission
to do that.
Yeah.
If you don't want to look on Facebook, you can look on sites like Big Egg or Exchange Hunter Jumper, which I think now is Hunter Jumper Exchange. I don't know.
Yeah.
There are tons of sites like that.
Sales,
yeah.
That's a good one. ProQuest, I've seen.
Yeah, ProQuest. And then the other way is just through trainer connections, which is how a lot of trainers shop. They go to horse shows, they network.
Yeah.
People call them and they're like, hey, I have this horse for sale. Do you have anybody who might be interested?
Yeah.
That's literally what happened with Squid. Carolyn's brother called her and was like, hey, I have this horse for sale. Do you have anybody who might want to buy it? So that's on finding the horse.
Yeah.
Once you find a few horses, because there will probably be multiple horses that you'll be interested in, that you'll want to try. You'll schedule trials.
Yeah.
Bring your trainer with you.
To always for the trials. And I would also bring whoever, especially if you're a junior, whoever is going to be a financially involved party.
Yes.
Also bring them.
Yeah.
For it.
Yeah, definitely. I brought my parents to Florida to try horses.
Yeah. And the region, like, figure out if you want to go in state, out of state, like with the travel, because you do have to pay for your trainer's travel.
Yes.
Costs.
Yeah, that's true. And also, even if you are paying for the horse, bring another third party that's not your trainer for safety and also to video.
Well, video
and for another
opinion. Sometimes I think you can get so, like, rose-colored glasses with horses
Yeah.
that you can overlook certain aspects of it.
Yeah.
And having that, even not even with your trainer, but having someone like a friend or someone that can give you like rationale and judgment, kind of like the devil on your shoulder. Is that the saying? Playing devil's advocate.
Yeah.
Thank you.
The devil on your shoulder is someone being like, do it. Buy it.
Buy the horse. Buy the horse. You know you want it. Yes. Someone to play devil's advocate to kind of give you some different perspective.
Yeah.
Set up a lot of horse trials. Don't just travel to Florida and have one horse that you want. Like even if you know, I really love this horse.
Yep.
Try other ones.
Yep. Again, that's what we did. We went down to Florida for squid, but I tried like 3 or 4 other horses.
Yeah, just so you have that kind of comparison.
Yeah. When you try a horse, a lot of the times you'll get there and they will always get it ready for you or have it ready for you. If the horse looks like it's been
worked prior,
that's something to watch out for. You are more than welcome to ask them to get on the horse before you do.
Yeah.
That's very common for the person showing the horse to ride the horse for you.
Yeah.
And then you can get on and do whatever, get a feel for the horse, do little flat work exercises to see how responsive they are.
Yeah. Not extensive. Like we're talking walk, trot, canter, switch directions, walk, trot, canter.
Yeah.
And then the jumps. Like you should not be on that horse for an hour.
No.
We've talked about this before.
No, definitely not. But also if you're riding the horse and you're not feeling it, it's okay to get off.
Get off. Yeah.
Like
5 minutes, 10 minutes, be like, thank you, but no thank you.
The seller would rather you do that than jump the crap out of the horse and then get off and be like, no thanks. So if you know immediately or within the first few minutes, like it's not rude, it's not embarrassing. Like if someone was trying my horse and he wasn't for them, I would prefer that they were just like, no thanks.
I've done that before. I've gotten on a horse that I got on. I was like, it's just a little bit small for me. I think I walked it. And before I even started trotting, I was like, you know what? I'm not going to get this horse. And I got off. Yeah. And I was like, it's not for me. I'm sorry.
I also did that. I got on a horse that was, I just didn't like it.
Yeah, you have that gut feeling when you get on. You're like, I like it, I don't like it, and don't be afraid to get off of it.
Yeah, definitely.
I also think it's not a bad thing. Like I prefer them actually not even having the horse tacked up when I get there because I like seeing. Personality is huge for me, so I like seeing behind the scenes of grooming the horse, how he acts, tacking up, how he acts. Like I think you can get a good behind the scenes even before you get there.
Yeah.
And you don't even have to do it. You don't have to be the one doing it. You can watch them do it. But I think it's still good to witness that.
One thing you should not do, or I guess should do, depending on how you look at it, is definitely be on time.
Oh my
because
gosh,
these people are taking time.
They
schedule their whole day around it. They're taking the time out of their day to like get the horse ready, watch you trial it, like be on time for your trial.
Yeah, I feel like this can be a whole pros and cons thing. We might have to do this in another discussion. Okay, so you like the horse in the trial.
You've decided you're going to buy the horse.
You tried other ones, but you're like, nope, that is the horse for me.
Yeah. So again, tell your trainer. Don't text the seller, especially if your trainer is acting as your agent. Mm-hmm. Do everything through your trainer. So your trainer will reach out to these people, be like, hey, we want to buy the horse. We want to schedule a pre-purchase exam.
Also make sure that your trainer is someone that you trust. Like that should be like number one.
Yeah.
We forgot to say that. But if you don't trust your trainer, you probably should not be with that trainer.
Yeah.
But you want something that you can really genuinely trust in this process.
Yeah. But so your trainer will schedule the PPE. Did you go to Finn's PPE?
I did. We actually did it same day.
That's right.
Same day. We took the trailer up and like everything happened in the same day within a couple hours. Yeah. But you also have the option depending on what the seller discloses to you, that I think determines what PPE you want to do, and also how you like what your goal is for the horse, what your purpose is for the horse. That will also determine, like, do you want a full set of x-rays everywhere?
Yeah.
Past experience, like, did you
That's
have a
what we
bad
did.
PPE?
We didn't have a bad PPE. We just wanted to make sure.
But I mean, I didn't do x-rays everywhere. I just did the basic.
Yeah.
And, you know, it depends on what you want to do. I think it's fine either way. Your trainer will also be able to help you decide how extensive you need the PPE.
Yeah.
And how much it's going to be.
Yeah.
I think, like, budgeting for that ahead of time, I think, is important.
Yeah, definitely. So yeah, definitely discuss with your trainer like what should be included in the PPE. And this to me isn't a situation of your trainer being like, I think you should do this, and you being like, no, I want to do less. It should be a situation of your trainer being like, you should do this, and then you maybe being like, I also want to do this.
Yeah, exactly. And make sure that the financially involved party is also in that, because they will be paying for the PPE. And I think it's important for them to be involved, honestly. Like, it's your
absolutely.
money, and you need to be involved in the process.
Yeah.
Period.
So then if when you get the PPE results back, review them with a vet.
Yep.
And your trainer.
Maybe two vets. It's okay to get a second opinion. Or a third even.
And determine whether or not the findings are, reasonable for what you're going to be doing with the horse.
Yes.
And then
PPEs are not a pass and fail grade.
Right. Everyone says like, will pass a PPE, might not pass a PPE, like didn't pass the PPE, but no horse is going to have like immaculate.
There's no horse out there that will have a perfect PPE. There's always something that's going to happen. It's PPEs are for what kind of maintenance can I expect?
Yeah.
What is the cost of the maintenance? And is this horse going to be able to do the job that I expect it to do?
Exactly.
That's what the PPE is about. Not this horse has this wrong and this wrong. No. Yeah. It's to give you information.
Yes, and it helps you prepare. It helps you prepare for, anything things that might come up down the line. So if once you get the PPE results, you're okay with everything, you've decided to buy the horse, your trainer will let the seller know, and then typically, set up a wire transfer, transfer the money,
sign the contract. Make sure there is a contract.
Yes.
Make sure that you read the contract.
Yep.
If you need someone like a lawyer to look over the contract, it's fine.
Yeah.
Also, this is like one of the don'ts, but don't let someone pressure you into, no, it's gonna go. The horse is gonna leave. Like, we have someone else for it.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
If you feel that you are getting pressured, it is probably not a good situation. Like, make sure that you do your due diligence with the PPE, with the contract, with everything. Like, make sure you cross your T's and dot your I's, because you do not want to get in a bad situation.
Yeah. So you've signed the contract, you've wired the money, and your trainer will set up transport.
Yeah.
If necessary.
If necessary, you'll have to set up transport. Also, some sellers require you to, before you take the horse off property, have insurance. Have insurance on the horse. Yeah. So that when you leave, and it's as simple as a call. Like, you call the equine insurance agent and say, that you give them the information, and then the policy's set.
Yep.
Kind of like a car insurance.
Yeah.
So make sure that you have that as well before you trailer off property.
Yes, definitely. And a lot of commercial shippers have just like a basic insurance that they like if something happens to your horse in shipping, like they have like a basic insurance policy, but definitely have your own, like, don't bank on that. And then
then
the horse is yours.
Home and he's yours, and it's so great. So yes, that is kind of the overview.
Very extensive
overview.
The horse buying process. Yeah. So the next question is, what are some things you wish you knew beforehand?
What are some things I wish I knew beforehand? Wish I knew how much it costs, for one.
Yeah.
Because I bought my horse when I was 25, and to be completely honest, I really didn't think that much into the future with how much it was going to cost. Like, I didn't really take that into account. I was like, okay, well, here's the boarding, here's the insurance, here's what I need to pay. That's like, I can handle that.
Yeah.
But what I did not account for was him getting injured. And even though I had insurance, the vet bills, the farrier bills were insane. insane.
Yeah.
And that for me was quite a financial shock.
Yeah.
And it drained my emergency fund.
That
so
was
now I'm rebuilding that.
that for you was an extenuating circumstance.
Yeah.
Which I mean, people should be prepared for.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's not.
I think you need to be prepared for be prepared for the unexpected.
Yeah.
Because it does happen.
Definitely.
Horses are horses. Horses get injured all the time, and
Yeah.
I think you need an emergency fund.
Yep.
Just in case that happens.
Yeah.
So that is something I wish I knew the actual costs and to be expected for the unexpected.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
What are some things you knew?
What do I wish I knew beforehand? I don't know, because I feel like before I owned, I leased for at least 3 years. And, you know, a lease is just like, not financially just like owning a horse, but like with the care and all that stuff, you kind of know what you're getting into. Oh no.
It's a hard question. I wish I also spent more time, I think, learning. Like I went really deep into the horsemanship and the training aspects of it after I bought him.
Yeah.
But I kind of wish I did that before. Like when I decided I wanted a horse, and then I decided what kind of horse I wanted, getting into like what kind of bits and the tack needed and all of this other stuff. And sometimes it's like a guess and check. Like sometimes you don't know until you experience it. But I think for the majority of time, it's just making sure that you're well versed and you're knowledgeable. I wish I did more research prior to the process, so I knew what to expect.
Yeah.
I wasn't smart enough to just like go on YouTube or this research buying your first horse. Like I was like, nope, I'm gonna buy it and figure it out.
Is you know, you don't know what you don't know.
Yeah, exactly.
Is the thing. Yeah, I don't know, because like I said, I did lease for a few years, which like is the responsibilities and stuff are very close to buying.
I wish I knew how mentally, like emotionally attached you'd become.
Yeah.
Honestly, I mean, my whole phone is like what? My dog and my horse?
Yeah.
Pretty much. Like, sorry, search. Yeah. But yeah, I know.
I wish I had a better answer for this.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I felt like I was well prepared just because I did have that experience of leasing.
Yeah. Well, the audience can let us know.
Yeah.
Viewers can let us know what you wish that you knew before you bought your horse.
What costs should I expect? So
the horse price.
Yeah. So there are costs that are going to come up, and then there are sometimes costs that you don't expect, or that you might just not think about or know about.
Yeah.
So the price of the horse.
The price of the horse. Trainer's commission.
Yes.
Trainer's commissions can be, I've seen like 10 to 25%.
Yeah.
Is usually standard.
Yep.
So
I feel like average is probably like 15.
Yeah, 15 is like probably average, but anywhere from like 10 to 25% I think would be reasonable, depending on the price of the horse and all that. So commission is a cost. PPE is a cost. That could be anywhere from like $400 to $2,500.
Yeah.
Trailering, that could be a cost, depending on where you're getting the horse from. I
think it will be a cost no matter what, because even if your trainer is trailering the horse, they'll typically charge you for trailering. So
trainer accommodations and trainer, like if your trainer goes with you and you have to fly or you're driving somewhere.
Did you have to pay?
I paid
when Chris. Oh, did you sleep over in Ocala?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Because I was gonna say,
like Ocala, we went from Miami.
Right, but then you slept over.
Yeah, I paid for the hotel rooms.
Yeah,
but I didn't, and like. I mean, I'm obviously like really close with Chris, so like we like split like the food and stuff like that. But I didn't pay for like the trailering per se. Like we brought the trailer up from Miami, but I didn't have to pay for the trailering or anything like that.
Yeah. So sometimes you will just like, when my trainer takes our horses to a horse show, we pay for that trailering fee.
Yeah.
So
and I think that's something to discuss beforehand as well. Like what cost can be expected from your trainer.
Yeah.
Because they should be very upfront and transparent with you. What you don't want to happen is that you budget for one thing and then it's like, oh, well, actually you owe me $500 for this.
Yeah. Definitely set expectations with or make sure that you and your trainer are on the same page in terms of what you are paying for.
Yes. So then the trailer costs. I mean, and then it's your tack costs.
Mm-hmm.
Tack and equipment was actually really expensive for me.
Yeah.
Like I actually did.
You've gone through a lot of stuff.
A lot of stuff. I mean, it's called being overly prepared. It's not hoarding, but I definitely spent quite a good bit amount of money on tack and supplies, stuff like that. But you don't even you can't even budget for that. Like I would say, budget for your saddle if you want a nice saddle.
I would say budget
for the saddle because that's a couple thousand.
If you want a nice new saddle, budget $10K for tack.
Yeah, $10K for all
for everything.
Yeah, like boots, girth, saddle pad,
bridle,
half pad,
bit, saddle. Yeah,
saddle.
Like if you want a high end saddle, budget $10K for tack. If you don't, $2 to $5K.
I'd say $5K because I would not skimp on a saddle. I think
agree.
That's a really important piece of tack. I think
agree.
You can be a little bit flexible in everything else, but I think the saddle and a saddle fit is very important for both the horse and for the rider.
Yeah, definitely.
So I would not skimp on that.
Yeah, same. And then you have your recurring costs.
Yeah,
board, farrier,
insurance,
regular vet visits,
maintenance if the horse needs maintenance, supplements if the horse needs supplements.
Yep.
Horse shows. You should budget for horse shows.
Yeah.
Is that mostly it? Any kind of chiropractor.
Yeah.
Massage. Body work.
Acupuncture.
Anything.
EMF.
Like Magnolia?
Yeah.
Magnolia. Yeah, make sure that you're accounting for that in your costs as well.
Yeah.
Definitely. But I think honestly the most unexpected cost, obviously, besides like medical issues and injuries, is the tack. I don't think people understand how expensive tack is. Like I honestly calculated all of my tack for one of the videos, and I'm afraid to do this video because Sergio doesn't know what I paid. And when I go and discuss it with him,
not his money.
He is gonna be like, "Oh my god,
it's a sunk cost. You can't get the money back.
It's done." But like, it was shocking to me too to like do all of that like individually and go through what I paid because like I like quality stuff.
Yeah,
I would rather pay for quality than have to replace things like consistently. So I would rather spend the money up front to get I would rather spend the money up front to get good quality that I know works well and that I like.
Yeah.
Especially for tack, but it is expensive. So I think the $10K is like a perfect additional cost that I would budget for.
Yeah. And then the last question is, what are some red flags to look for when you're trying horses?
Ooh, this is a fun one.
So we already talked about one, which is when you show up for the trial, if the horse looks like it had already been worked. If the horse looks like it had already been worked, that's a red flag. Those people are trying to, work something out of it, or something is going on with the horse that they don't want you to see.
Yeah. If they say you don't need a PPE.
Oh, yes, that's a red flag. If they say, "Oh, we had a PPE done like last month, we have the results that we can show you." No,
absolutely.
Do your own PPE because they either didn't do the PPE or maybe they did,
or maybe it's another horse's PPE.
Yeah,
I've seen that too.
Yeah, especially like I always recommend doing blood work on PPEs because you never know if someone's drugging a horse. That's definitely a red flag. If the horse, this is going to be an obvious one, but if the horse doesn't look the same in person as it does in the pictures, either, and by this I mean like in terms of its condition, because it's very easy to like post old pictures or something of a horse, and then you get there and like maybe it's skinny or under muscled or whatever.
This goes actually into that. This is when I think that actually juniors will be very appreciative of, hopefully, that I've found that sellers nowadays, like quality sellers, want to call you on the phone because they want to discuss it with you over the phone, where I think you can have a good conversation. If you are unwilling to get on the phone and call someone, there's an issue, and that's a red flag. And I think a lot of sellers, if the person does not want to get on the phone and they just text,
Yeah.
red flag. Like, practice if you need to speaking to someone on the phone. Like,
Yeah.
just don't go through text messages.
Yeah, definitely.
Also, I think you can get a little bit more information too
Mm-hmm.
when you're speaking to someone on the phone because they have less time to think about their response.
Yeah.
So you can tell if someone's trying to lie on the phone
Yeah, that's
with
true.
your questions. So I always would recommend to call someone,
Mm-hmm.
call the buyer, call the seller, make sure that you have a conversation with them. And you can also tell the ages, I think.
Yeah.
If they're younger, if they're older, like if a woman posted it but you're talking to a guy, what's going on? Like, I think there's a lot that you can get from a phone call over a text message.
Yeah,
So
definitely.
that is something that I would look for.
Yes. I also think if they don't, I don't want to say if they don't have quality pictures because that might not necessarily be a red flag, but like,
I think as a seller, you should have quality pictures.
yeah.
I think it's worth the money to make quality pictures, make quality videos.
Yeah, like we saw an ad that we read last time where the pictures, first of all, we didn't even know if they were the same horse.
Oh.
The horse looked like it was in Europe, but the post was
The seller
the seller was in the US.
Yeah, so it was a very red flag. Like, if things don't match up,
yeah,
then there's a problem.
Yeah, definitely. Oh, also, if someone asks you for a deposit,
yes, don't
That's
do
a
it. Oh my
scam.
god, that is a huge one.
That's a
I'm
huge
so
scam.
happy that you just brought that up because that is very common, especially in the lower budgets.
Yes.
So, and it's trailering too, not even just for horses, but for trailering. They will say, I need a deposit for this. You never need a deposit for a horse. Do not take it. Do not take it.
Do not need it. You don't need a deposit for someone to hold
a
horse for you.
Never.
If they're that kind of person that once you say you want the horse and they're like, oh, well, you have to give me a deposit or I'll sell it to someone else, like, you don't want to be doing business with a person like that anyway.
No.
But it's always a scam.
Yeah.
Don't give
that.
anyone a deposit.
Do not give anyone money.
Ever. Don't ever give anyone
ever give people money as a deposit.
Yeah, I think that one's huge.
That's a really big one. I think do your research. I think do your research before you go to try the horse.
Yeah.
Especially if you're looking at if the horse has a USEF record, look at the USEF record.
Yes, look at the USEF record.
Don't look at the USEF record from just what shows up. Look at the horse's age. Put that in. I don't care if it's 1 year old, 2 years old. Put it in from like 2010 to current.
Yeah, don't just look at the last year.
Update report. Look at everything. And if you have your subscription, it might be worth it to pay for a subscription or to have a subscription and look at the show videos of the horse. I know Clip My Horse does this.
Clip My Horse does it.
I think the PBIEC website, you can also do it.
Yeah.
Look at the videos. And I'm not saying that videos can be misleading. I get that. Yeah. But if you look at enough, you should be able to see some
You should be able to get an idea.
Yeah. And it's not enough to say yes or no to a horse, I don't think, for videos. Because it could be the rider.
Yeah,
it could be like a horse is having an off day. But I think it's worth mentioning. Like, it's worth looking up for sure. But it's also worth, hey, I saw this video. Can you explain what happened?
Yes. Yeah.
And have the seller explain, like, maybe the horse they found out the horse was injured or something after the show. Or maybe the rider had no idea what she was doing and shouldn't have been on the horse. Like, stuff like that. I think you can talk it out with the seller.
I agree.
But I think it's worth doing your research on the show record and the videos and not take it with a grain of salt, but know.
Yeah, definitely. I would agree with that. Yeah.
Google the horse. See if it's on YouTube.
If the seller is also not willing to disclose certain information about the horse, that's also a red flag. Because like sometimes, I mean, I feel like it's relatively common sometimes to ask for like previous vet records, and if they're not willing to disclose that, that's a huge red flag. That kind of goes along the lines of like if they tell you don't need a PPE, then they're hiding something.
Make sure they have a contract in place. We said that before, but I think that's really important. Make sure that you look over the contract or have someone who's knowledgeable look over the contract, because there has been situations that I've heard of where either it's been a commission issue where the trainer has this is actually going to be, we should do a good discussion on the commissions because it's actually a big topic, where the trainer has taken more money than disclosed to the buyer or the seller. that needs to be in the contract, like the commission.
Yep.
So you can have that if you ever need to go to court and say that.
Yeah.
In addition, the contract, if anything were to happen to the horse, like if the seller didn't disclose something that they knew, that could all, and then suddenly the horse is unsound or something happened, you could also take that. Like the contract, I think a lot of people overlook that, but it's very important to have, and it's very important that it covers both parties.
Yeah, definitely.
Appropriately.
Cool. Any other red flags?
Red flags. I feel like the red flags just come up when, if you have a gut feeling.
Yes, trust your gut.
Trust your gut. There's probably something.
Yeah.
Going on.
Yeah.
That is iffy.
Yeah, definitely. Biggest red flag is if something feels off.
Yeah.
I feel like.
Yes.
Yeah. Trust your gut.
If something feels off, it probably is.
Yeah. Yeah. Cool. Well, that's our advice for this week. Advice column with Nora and Maria.
Tea time.
Yeah. So keep sending in your submissions. We loved this one. So if you have
stories that you need advice on, we love giving unsolicited advice.
Yes, even though this is solicited advice.
Well, I mean, do a PP. Yeah, that's solicited.
Yeah.
For sure.
And we'll talk to you later.
We need a closing.
Adult
Ammy's out.